Dr. Sanchez. I've been thinking about this for a while because I was thinking the last time I saw you live, like I'm seeing you right now, was at a little breakfast joint here in Scottsdale.
On a rainy day.
On a rainy day, which is unusual for the desert, right? And I mean, look, I had known your work for some time. The Y Institute, it's fairly renowned, very, very well known around the world. But meeting you just kind of brought a different flavor to it. And the thing I keep remembering is how much in that little diner, you had a couple of random women at a table near us go through your assessment. And then you found out that one of them in particular had the same Y, I don't know, is it standard? What is it called?
Yeah, the Y as you had the same Y as you.
Right, the same Y as me.
Which was the Y of challenge.
Right, you remember that.
Yeah.
You're impressive. Well, and then you had me go talk to her.
Yep.
And in a moment, I watched a light bulb go off in her head, like literally. So I need to learn more about this, right? The Y Institute. Talk to me about the different categorizations, all of that. But let's start. How did it start?
Well, I want to get back to that story.
Yeah, please.
If you're okay, because
of course.
From my perspective, if you remember, it was a rainy day here in Scottsdale, and so I had gotten there before you and Carrie.
Right.
And so that's how these two gals were sitting next to me, and I said, hey, can I ask you guys a question? What is the biggest challenge facing your generation? And they both said, it's mental health.
Right.
And I said, well, what's mental health?
And they were in their 20s.
They were in their 20s.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. One was kind of a really slender gal with a black gal with a top hat on.
Right.
And the other one was a little heavier Hispanic gal.
Yeah.
And so once
very distinct styles.
Totally different. Yeah. Totally different. The Hispanic gal was very reserved, very quiet, kind of shy.
Yeah.
So once she discovered her why and it came up with the why of challenge, what I said to her before I went to get you was, do you feel like you're muting yourself? Do you feel like you're not being able to fully express who you are? And her eyes started to get teary-eyed.
Yeah.
And she said, yeah, that's exactly what it is. I can't be myself because I don't think people will like me. And then when I knew what her why was, and I turned to her and I said, you see that bald guy over there with the tattoos all over his arms?
He's like you.
He has your same why. Is it okay if I go grab him and have him come talk to you? And that's when you came up and sat down, and then I walked away.
Yeah.
But I do remember.
Yeah.
But I do remember when you came back, you had tears coming down your face.
It's because I felt her. Yeah. I felt like when you just described that, how she kind of revealed to you she didn't feel like she could be herself.
Yeah.
She started explaining that to me. And it was my younger self talking. And that's why I got emotional, because in a moment I felt the challenges that she's experienced. I'm a bit older, a bit more mature. I've been through it. But I remember what it was like to be her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
By the way, just so you know, I got a little mango, blackberry soda, and a little coconut water in there for you.
That is awesome. Perfect timing. I love it.
Thanks, bro.
Love it.
Thanks. So, okay, I need to know more.
Yeah.
How did you know the Y Institute had to come into the world?
So when I was a dentist.
Yep.
So when I graduated from USC Dental School in 1988, just the other day.
You have to do it.
Just
2 days ago, yeah.
The advice that I was given by the gurus of that time was build a great product and people will come.
Okay.
Right? Go out and do the best job you can. People will naturally, mysteriously find out about you. So I spent 20 years reaching the highest levels you could get to in dentistry, studying with the best mentors, working with the best institutes, buying all the technology, training a great team, and I still blended in with everybody else who said, yeah, I'm a dentist too.
Yeah.
Drove me crazy. I'd never worked so hard at something and not gotten the results I thought I would. So I was either going to quit or I was going to get a coach. Okay. So I went out and hired a coach, a guy by the name of John Assaraf. You probably know him.
I know John, yeah.
And so through John, I learned how to use the internet.
Okay.
Websites, drip campaigns, SEO, so I could tell the world all about me. But what was I going to say? And I didn't want to sound bad or desperate, so I just stayed quiet until one day I heard him interview Simon Sinek.
Who I also know.
Who you also know, who wrote the book Start With Why.
Yeah.
So I read that book 4 or 5 times. I watched that TED Talk maybe 20, 30 times. And I said, that's what I'm missing. I have a great what, but I don't know my why. So I became obsessed with this why thing. I called Simon. I said, hey, I need you to help me discover my why. So he and I spent about 8 months together going through my life looking for clues, trying to figure it out. When I finally figured out my why, which is to find a better way and share it, that's when my life started to make sense to me.
I love that.
And
I love that. Wow.
Then I went back and figured out what Simon was trying to do. and I made it better. In my practice, we stopped talking about what we do, crowns, bridges, fillings, all that fun stuff, right? And started talking about why we do what we do.
Sure.
What do we believe? And
this is like marketing 101, but it's bigger than that.
Yep.
So I'm gonna ask you a question.
Sure.
And you can completely tell me you disagree. Like I'm not trying to be right.
Yeah.
I'm trying to learn, right?
Yep.
So when I look at my own career, right, and literally spawning 30, 35 years, I was a bodyguard for celebrities.
Okay.
I was a bouncer in nightclubs. Been a bartender forever. Okay. But then as I started getting a bit more serious with my professional career, I started doing like physical training with elite athletes. That morphed into mental-based training with elite athletes. Well, then I saw a hole in the marketplace that we don't know how to work with young athletes properly, so I built a company around that education. Okay, well, that was great. And then I sold those companies, and I moved into a lot of what I've done the last decade, which is counseling for elite executives, corporations, athletic teams, etc. It sounds like there's a lot of uniform there, but there's not. Like, it really is separate things.
Yeah.
So one day I decided to dissect it all and find what I call the straight lines. What are the straight lines between all of that? So I even brought it all the way back to bodyguarding. And I was like, teach, protect, guide. Like, if I'm in the wheelhouse of those three things, it almost doesn't matter how I apply them. Is that a fair representation of like, those things represent my why?
Yeah.
I can build anything around them, but am I close?
Well, let's talk about this for a second.
Yeah.
What was it that you actually did for these elite athletes?
I taught.
What did you teach them?
How to use their mind differently than they were.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's what it is. You got them to think outside the box they've put themselves in so they could have a bigger impact with what they're doing.
Makes sense.
That's what the why of challenge is all about.
Okay.
I bet you did that every
Because
single
that's my
place.
designation, right?
Yeah.
Where you're saying the challenge is how I presented in your analysis.
Yeah, in the why discovery, your why was the why of challenge, to think differently, push limits, and think outside the box. Who says we have to do it this way? Who says we're going to draw inside the lines? I don't want to follow the recipe.
That is exactly me.
Yeah, you just whip this up without any kind of recipe or anything. It's just, let's just throw it together and I know it's going to turn out good.
Sure.
So if we were to look back from a different lens of what did you actually do for those people, my guess is it's going to be you got them to think outside the box. They put themselves in.
No doubt.
And same thing with executive coaching.
Yeah, same thing with the youth fitness thing, is that it was a market that wasn't being serviced.
So that's your why. But your how, which I remember as well, is simplify. So
I remember that too.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what you do then is give them 3 things to do. Here's the 3 things we're going to do. We're not going to give you 50 things. We're going to give you 3 things. So let's get you to think differently.
Yep.
Let's give you 3 simple things that I know you can do so that your what is to have an impact.
Yeah.
Contribute to other success.
Right.
So that you can have a bigger impact.
So what comes last?
What comes last? Why, how, what?
There's still how in there.
Yes.
And that's where a lot of entrepreneurs get tripped up. They have the grandiose vision, but how am I going to do it?
Yes.
And I've always counseled people, don't ask that question first. But I've never had your pedigree to understand why. Like, why has to come first, how second, you said what third?
Yes.
So define what? And is that the medium through which you...
What you ultimately bring.
Okay.
So your why is why you do what you do. Your how is how you go about bringing your why to life.
Yeah.
And then your what is ultimately what you bring.
Okay.
So in your case, why you do it is to get people to think differently,
Yeah.
push limits.
Yeah.
I mean, and if the cameras can see your body and your tattoos and all the other stuff you got going on, it's not typical or traditional, right?
Correct, yeah.
How you do that is by making things simple. You figure out what's actually going on and you say, let's break it down to these 3 things.
Yeah.
Ultimately, though, what you bring is a way to contribute, add value, have an impact on the lives of others.
Yeah, I love that. I really love that. There's so much richness in this. Okay, so because of me, we're jumping around. I want to go back to you were a dentist.
Yes.
Then you found the Y Institute.
Yep.
What's the bridge? How'd you get there?
Yeah, so I was trying to do both. So once I found a better way to do what Simon was trying to do, I could help someone discover their why in about an hour. And for the next 7 years, I did it for free for anybody that would let me. So remember, I'm a dentist.
Yeah.
So while you're sitting in my chair getting numb, you're going to get your why discovered.
I love it.
If you're sitting next to me on an airplane,
Yeah.
you're going to get your why discovered. And I did this for so many thousands of people that I started to notice patterns and trends and similarities. And then I figured out there's only 9 different whys.
Okay.
That was the most important thing.
You drew lines on patterns you saw.
Yeah.
That makes a ton of sense.
Actually, I was working with a big group of lawyers in Florida one day,
Okay.
and I was only supposed to be on stage for like 45 minutes. What I used to do is bring somebody out of the audience on stage with me, discover their why in front of the audience, and then build their messaging, marketing, branding right there on the stage.
How powerful is that? Wow.
And so once I did the first person, then so, hey, can I go next? And can I go next? So 14 hours later, I'm still on stage taking people through discovering their why. But halfway through the day, this one gal, this attorney, asked me, raise her hand. And she goes, hey, Gary, how many whys are there? I don't know. I never even thought of that. That's when I started to keep track of them.
Sure.
And the same 9 kept coming up over and over. And once I figured out there were 9 different whys, then I could teach other people to do what I was doing. Then I could get more data. And then in 2016, I developed the why discovery that just found your why.
Yeah.
And I gave it away to hundreds of thousands of people to test it.
Sure.
And then in 2021, we launched the YOS discovery that finds your why, how, and what, and builds your personal message for you. And it does that in about 8 minutes.
It didn't take long.
No.
I remember because you said an hour a few seconds ago, and I thought to myself, it didn't take me that long to do the. And I also want to add, the day I met you, I remember using the word assessment more than once, and you correcting me more than once. And it's not an assessment; it's a discovery. Explain that.
Yeah.
So what's the difference?
Perfect. So an assessment is like Myers-Briggs or DISC or Colby. We all take 50 questions or whatever the number is, and then they grade it and you get a score. The YOS discovery has over 4,000 possible question options.
Okay.
I use logic-based programming, so the next question you answer is based on the one you just
I love it.
Just answered.
So it sends you it's
Different
almost
way.
like a choose your own adventure. You don't realize it, but the way you answer question 1 is what question 2 becomes. Is that fair?
Exactly. And one other thing I haven't shared with you yet.
Yeah.
There's 9 different whys. We all have all 9.
Okay.
One of them is more dominant than the rest. That's
Sure.
the one that becomes your why. The second most dominant is your how, and the third is your what.
Okay.
But the YOS discovery actually goes 9 levels deep, which I haven't gone through with you yet.
No.
So sometime we'll do that.
I'd love to.
Top 3 are the things that give you energy.
Sure.
Middle 3, we call them energy neutral. Bottom 3 are the things that zap your energy. So
How important is this?
Yep.
So I mean, look, energy is my thing,
Yep.
right? So my doctor's in pastoral counseling. I'm always looking at energetic profiles of people. And I always try to remind people that be self-aware. What gives you energy, what takes it away? Because we're often trying to fit our round selves into square holes, and we're resistant. We don't know why. We shit on ourselves for it. We call ourselves lazy. But I always try to counsel people, but listen, like you plug into the wrong socket. Like what gives you energy, what takes it away? Because if we find energy neutral, or better yet, energy in, which is what I call it, it's effortless. It always is effortless. Is that an energetic way of representing?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And what the YOS discovery will do will give you exactly what it is. So if you're getting people to think outside their box, you're showing them a simple way to move forward, and they're having a bigger impact. Does it get any better than that?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. Yeah.
You do it all day long for free. If you
Right.
couldn't, you probably have.
Yes. Yes. Okay. I have so many discussion points I want to go through with you.
Yeah.
So many. I just thought of one right now, and this might be something you've never considered, although I doubt that. Right. For some reason, what you just said, you could do it all day long.
Yep.
Got my brain going into the age of 65, which is retirement age. Is there any data you have that shows people as they advance in age actually continue working because you've taught them to love what they do, or you've taught them to align to what they love? So how rudimentary is retirement age? Like how unnecessarily standardized has that become? Am I anywhere near the ballpark of data you've collected?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
In fact, I think before we came on air, you and I were talking about, I ran into John Maxwell last week.
Right.
And had a chance to sit down and talk with him for a while.
He's not a young man.
78.
78, yeah.
So that's a question I asked him. I said, what keeps you going?
Yeah.
Why are you still doing this? He's got more money than he could ever spend.
Right.
And he said, there's nothing better for him than to see someone else do better.
Yeah.
And that's why he keeps doing what he's doing. He's living in alignment with his why.
Yeah.
And so if any of us do that, we'll have unlimited energy for it. That's why I'm still going. I don't necessarily need to do what I'm doing.
Sure.
I'm 63.
Right.
So I don't necessarily need to do it.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
You look great.
So I'm 2 years away.
Yeah. Sure.
No, but I'll probably never stop.
Insight for you, I'm assuming. Yeah.
I'm never going to stop. Why would I stop? What am I going to do? I played enough golf and enough other things.
Right. But the story would be different if you hadn't found your why.
Yes,
right?
it would be.
It would be, God, I got 2 years left, and then I can cash it out and play some golf.
So here's this. I didn't get to tell you how I transitioned from dentistry to.
Yeah, that's a story I'm so interested in. Yeah.
Yeah, because there'll probably be some people listening right now that are wondering how they can make the transition from what they're currently doing to what they really want to do.
Yeah.
And so there's an event in Santa Fe called Zozobra. It's kind of like a Burning Man type thing, but it's more of a show.
Right.
So they burn this huge puppet. So I went there for a buddy's 45th birthday party. We ate and drank a little too much. So I woke up the next morning with a pretty significant headache.
Yeah.
Took a couple Advil, went back to bed. No big deal. One of the Advil didn't dissolve, and it lodged in my GI tract, and it burnt a hole right where there was an artery. Oof. And so I start bleeding internally, and I don't know it. I just feeling kind of crummy. So this was in Santa Fe. So I drive back to Albuquerque. I actually go to the gym thinking I'll work this off.
Yeah.
And I get home, and I'm just feeling crappy. So I end up going to the restroom, and then I just start throwing up blood. Blood's coming out everywhere, lots and lots of blood. And so I obviously knew that wasn't good. So I went to the ER. It was a busy weekend. They made me wait 11 hours. So by the time they admitted me, my blood pressure was 60/30, and I'd lost half of my blood.
Holy shit.
So while I was in the where they admitted me, blood in your GI tract acts like a laxative, so you need to use the restroom. So I go to the restroom, and I wasn't in a private room, so I locked the door behind me. That was a mistake. As soon as I locked the door, I passed out, hit my face on the sink, and ended up on the floor.
God.
So luckily, I woke up, pushed the door open, and then somebody found me.
Oh, geez.
So next thing I know, I wake up in this bed. They've cut all my clothes off. I have the 2 pads on me. They had to revive me, off to surgery to try to get to it, to stop it. They couldn't get to it because of where it was located, so they decided just to wait. Then they decided they're going to do a CAT scan to see if I've stopped bleeding. So when they're pumping all this dye into my arm, they blow out my arm. And my arm starts filling up with blood clots, gets huge.
Yeah.
And so the doctor walks in and says, Gary, if we don't stop those blood clots, they're growing into your lungs, you're going to die.
Wow.
If we try to stop the blood clots, we can't get to the bleed, so you're going to die. I said, what are we going to do? He said, I don't know. And luckily, right then, my phone rang, and it was a buddy of mine that was a cardiologist at the hospital. And he said, hey, Gary, I didn't even know you were in here, but I don't like what they're going to do. I'm going to take over. So I was in the ICU for 9 days, a lot of crazy. I don't know if you've ever been in the ICU as a patient before.
No.
I hadn't either.
Yeah.
A lot of crazy stuff happens to you in there. But ultimately, what happened is I had to go to bed one evening with an IV of heparin to stop the blood clots.
Yep.
And and hope I didn't bleed.
Yep.
Which is exactly what happened. And so once that happened, then I could take blood thinners, and eventually I got out.
Yeah.
A lot of brain stuff happened. I had to go see some brain specialists. A lot of crazy stuff happened.
Thank goodness for that. Gosh.
Yeah. So I finally get back to my practice.
Yeah.
One of my patients who's in his mid-80s takes me aside and he said, hey, Gary, you got a second chance on life. He said, when you get to be my age and you look back on your time here on earth, are you going to be glad you stayed a dentist? Or are you going to wish you'd taken this why thing to the world? I said, I'm going to wish I'd taken this why thing to the world. He said, well, then you know what you need to do.
Yeah.
So that's when I sold
What a
my
great
practice.
intervention. What a great intervention. Yeah.
That was in 2020.
Okay. That recent?
That recent.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
I mean, we met in 2022, 23?
Yeah.
So you guys were only a couple, 3 years old at that point.
This part of it, I've been working on this since 2009.
Right.
I was doing both.
Development of, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So I was doing both. I had one foot in both.
Yeah.
So but in 2020 is when I sold my practice.
Just moved in.
Yep.
I got to tell you, I'm so glad you told that story. I mean, first of all, I like it because I feel like I know you better now, right? Mm-hmm. But I always think about people watching and listening. And in my head, right, I don't articulate this necessarily, but whenever I'm talking to somebody like this, I always think to myself, to the viewer, I think, take what serves you, disregard the rest. But somebody needed to hear that story today. I'm telling you right now, somebody needed to hear that story.
I needed to hear it back.
Yeah.
What would it so here's for the listeners, what will it take for you to make the change you need to make?
Yeah.
even though you don't know what's on the other side. Because I went from something, think about this, I went from being a dentist, which I'd been for over 30 years, where I was making great money, working 3 days a week, 40 weekends every week.
Yeah.
I knew it really well. I had spent all that time becoming exceptionally good at it.
Sure.
I don't mean to say that in a bragging way, but that's kind of what happened.
Brag on, brother.
And
Brag on.
well, when most dentists take 20 hours of CE a year, I take 250 every year.
Yeah, I'm not surprised given who you are. Yeah.
And so I walk away from that to something I know nothing about.
There's such beauty in that, though. I mean, I've done that so many times in my life. And I mean, not for the same reasons. You have a trauma story attached. But I love my favorite internal ethos is that life is a grand experiment of discovery. Like, you can't fuck it up.
Yeah.
You can't fuck it up. Because the reality is that none of us are going to get out of this alive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So everything can be changed. Everything can be, put back to where you feel more comfortable or safe. Are you familiar with the book, The Comfort Crisis?
No.
I gotta tell you, it's one of those books that I think I will forever endorse. Guy named Michael Easter wrote it. Great guy on top of it all. But that book, what he did, he's a writer in New York City, right? So he got this hypothesis in his head one day that we've become too comfortable as a society. So he set it upon his own mission to go and do challenging things. And I love the way he builds this because in the book he talks about he goes to Alaska to do a hunting expedition. He hires a guide and everything. And the story in the book is great because he talks about, they hike 22 miles to get to the hunting ground, right? And then they wait all day for the caribou to go by. And the caribou go by, and either he or the guide shot a caribou. So now they go down to the caribou, and he's cheering. He's like, "Oh, this is great! We killed an animal we can eat." And then he realizes we got to gut this thing and carry all 600 pounds of it back 22 miles. And that's when he realized that his hypothesis was accurate. We live in climate-controlled homes on ergonomically designed beds. I can have my groceries delivered to my front door if I want to. Nothing's hard. And that's, I think, and this is something I've disallowed in my own life, my own personal life. I disallow myself ever from complaining. I don't complain. Because if I'm complaining, it's not accepting the blessing that is my life the way I should. And I don't like that energy going out into the world. But because I do hard things on purpose. I often change careers. I often go directions I've never been before because I don't know, we'll figure it out though. How important is that? I mean, you had an intervention, but I know you above and beyond that. How important is that?
Well, what you just said right there is so in alignment with your why.
The challenge.
The challenge part, right? You're not scared of nothing.
I'm really not.
No.
Sometimes I just think I'm an idiot. Like I'm
and
stupid.
You stick up for the underdog.
Always.
Yeah, and so for you, that's natural.
Yeah.
For somebody with a different why, not natural.
Gotcha.
Not even in the ballpark of what they want to do.
Sure.
They want consistency, structure, process, predictability.
Yeah.
You're like, I don't need any of that stuff.
Right.
I already know it. I don't need that.
Does this make sense to you? I have very disciplined rituals. Like I'm a competitive power lifter. I have very strong spiritual practices and they're ritualized every day, but I take them with me.
Yeah.
So if I move from Scottsdale to Utah or I'm going to come live next to you in Albuquerque, my rituals come with me. If I change careers, my rituals are my grounding every single day. That's how I build in predictability. But is that part of my challenge?
No, it's part of the simplify.
It's part of my simplify. Oh,
Yeah.
Keep going.
Yeah, because I can imagine your rituals are not super overly complex.
An hour of basic stuff.
Basic stuff.
Yeah.
You don't make it too crazy and throw in all this. Okay.
No.
So
smart.
that's how you go. Yeah. That's how you go about doing it, right?
Okay,
Making it simple, easy to do, but I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
So that I can have a bigger impact with my life.
You're teaching me right now because I just thought about, but I even know my what. For each task within the ritual, I know what I'm intending to accomplish with it. That's my what, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so what the YOS, we call it YOS, which is Y operating system. When you put all three together, it's your YOS, Y operating system. That's why you were put on earth.
Okay.
That is what you were put here to do. Get people to think outside their box, bring them a simple path forward so they can have a bigger impact. Does that make sense?
I gotta rewatch this.
Yeah.
I gotta rewatch this. Okay, can we go back to the YOS for a second? 9 whys.
9 whys.
I'd be resistant asking you name them.
Okay.
In case, but I'm like, no, he knows them. Name them. What are the 9 whys?
Yeah, of course. Well, the first one is contribute.
Okay.
So keep in mind that there's 9 and you have all 9.
Right.
Everybody has all.
We're just in a hierarchy, I guess,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. Okay.
Pretty much most common to least common. But the first one is contribute. Contribute to a greater cause. Add value, have an impact on the lives of others. That's your what, actually.
Okay.
Okay, the second one is trust. To be the trusted source, to create relationships based upon trust. If I can trust you, you can trust me. Sky's the limit. That's the second one. Third one is make sense. These are people that are great problem solvers, to make sense out of things, especially if complex or complicated. The fourth one is better way, which is my why. Always looking for a better way. Go to bed thinking about a better way, wake up thinking about a better way. Can't turn it off, right? Never satisfied.
Wow.
Yeah, the fourth one, the fifth one is right way.
Okay.
Structure, process, systems, do things the right way in order to
A lot
get
of
results.
people fit that one.
Yes, the next one is challenge.
That's me.
It's you.
Yeah.
To not follow the rules, to not do it like everybody else, to think outside the box.
Yeah.
Then is mastery, to dive in very, very deep. Take the simple and make it complex by diving in really deep, looking for the little thing that makes the big difference.
Yeah.
Then clarify. To make things crystal clear and understandable. These are people that ask a lot of questions to make sure, first, what is the question? Get clear on the question, then get clear on the answer. They write you the long text and the long email.
Sure.
And the last one is simplify. Decrease complexity. Take complex things, simplify them down to just what's necessary. Make it to the point. Don't beat around the bush. Just hit me with it.
So all 9 exist in everybody.
And everybody.
Effectively, the top 3 become our why, our how, and our what.
Correct.
God, I'm going to tell you a story.
Yes.
You're going to love this story,
Yes.
just based on what you said. Before I do, you and I were talking earlier about these candles.
Yeah, those are cool.
They're really nice,
Really
aren't
cool,
they?
yeah.
So this is actually our podcast sponsor. It's desertcandleworks.com. It's a really nice, to a young couple in their mid-20s who I like the mission behind it. They go to local restaurants and bars and they ask us not to throw away our empties at the end of the night, the empty Tito's or Woodford Reserve, and we just hold them for them. They recycle them and make candles out of them. So it's actually, I think it's a great cause because it's environmentally so pronounced.
Yes.
But I love that 2 young people in their mid-20s. All right, based on that, what's their why?
Probably better way.
Really?
Yeah, they found a better way to make a candle or to use the bottles or to, it could also be, contribute.
Sure.
That's the one thing.
Yeah.
I've done more why discoveries than anybody in the world.
Yeah.
And rarely can I look at somebody and tell you what their why is.
Even if you know a backstory, so you need them to go through your discovery.
If you want to make sure it's accurate.
It's accurate.
Yeah.
Because I was going to tell you, these 2, I asked them why they started this.
Yeah, what'd they say?
You know what they said to me? They said they were at a liquor shop and they saw candles like this that were priced at $90. And they both said, we can do it cheaper.
It's got to be a better way.
Yeah. All right, here's my funny story to go along with challenge.
Yeah.
Because you said, I believe when you were commenting on challenge, you said...
By the way, I'm married to somebody with the why of challenge, so I know what it's like.
Me well.
I know what it's like to be married to you.
Right. Hey, listen, it's not all fun and games.
Dr. Carey, yeah.
Exactly, right? But I've been telling everybody in my life for the last 30 years that at my funeral, there's exactly one song I want to have played. It's My Way by Frank Sinatra. Does that not work?
Yes.
Yeah.
You're not scared to do it your way. You're not scared to push limits. You're not just not freaking scared.
Yeah.
And it's why that's such a valuable why for a visionary.
Yeah.
It's not a valuable why for an employee.
Right.
You would make a terrible employee.
Right.
Right? If I tell you,
would. Yeah. I do, in fact.
Yes. Telling you to be somewhere from 8 to 5, you're like, that's kind of implied, isn't it? Or
yeah. Do you care where I get this work done?
Yeah.
Isn't it just that I do the work? Yeah.
But being a visionary,
Yeah.
pushing limits, thinking outside the box, Steve Jobs, Richard Branson,
Yep.
Herb Kelleher, people that think outside the box and do it differently, that's what you would do.
Yeah. It's interesting. The brand, this brand, the Buddha Bartender.
Yeah.
if we were to give it a quantified time, I'd say 3 to 5, maybe 7 years.
Okay.
One of our end results is that we want to open a very high-end, very high-experience cocktail lounge. And whenever I express that to people, the number one question I get back is, that sounds great. How are you going to do that? My answer, I have no idea. I have no idea. Is that symptomatic of challenge? For sure. I don't know how I'm going to do it.
You jump out of the plane and figure it out of the way.
Down. Exactly,
Yeah.
So, I mean, look, how many thousands of people have done a YOS around the world?
Yeah, we've done it now with over 400,000 people.
400,000?
Yeah.
So you've got data.
Lots of data.
Yeah.
We've taken lots and lots of companies through it.
Yeah.
Usually we start with the leader, visionary,
Sure.
and then kind of expand out through the leadership team and then through the whole team. And, we're doing it with biotech companies,
Yep.
the whole pork industry we're doing next
Really?
week. Yeah.
What changes in a company? Right, let's just say, I'm going to use your reference.
Yeah.
You start with the
Yep.
leadership team, it branches down from there. So let's just say you in one company, you do a discovery with, I'm just going to play 250 people.
Yep.
That covers high-end management or executive,
Yep.
middle management down. That's a lot of folks.
Yep.
What changes? What
Clarity.
changes you see happen?
It demystifies who do we have on our team?
Okay.
How do we all get along? What are some challenges we might face? How do we put people in the right place where they love what they do? There's such a big difference.
This is everything, isn't it?
It's everything.
Yeah.
There's such a big difference between being able to do something and loving what you do. Let's use you as an example
Sure.
again. So let's say you showed up at my business and you fill out a resume. And on that resume, you put, I'm good with numbers. Yeah, he's probably good. Wonderful. Brian is going to be our new bookkeeper.
Right.
Right?
Laugh, because that would be awful.
Yeah, how would you do as a bookkeeper?
Awful.
Awful, right? How long would you have energy for being a bookkeeper?
36 minutes.
36 minutes, and then you're going to start causing trouble, right?
I will.
But you probably are good with numbers. You could probably do.
Sure. Yeah.
But being in a situation where you're in a cubicle crunching numbers all day long would kill you, right?
Oh yeah. My soul would be dead inside of those 36 minutes.
And let's say you're put in that spot for a year,
Yeah.
5 years,
Oh,
10 years.
yeah. Yeah.
Then you start to think something's wrong with you.
Exactly.
It's not that something's wrong with you. You're just in the wrong spot.
Yeah.
Then take you and put you into growth.
Sure.
Like marketing, promotions, events. You'd be freaking an animal there.
Right. Yeah.
So we take somebody who's in the wrong spot, make sure they get in the right spot. And if you do this with your entire team, imagine the impact you can have.
So what I heard there was effectiveness, efficiency.
Yeah.
The ROI is massive.
Yep.
I don't want to put you in a place where I'm overstretching any limits legally or otherwise.
Yep.
But when you're talking, you know what I keep hearing? And I'm going to say this is on me.
Okay.
How many mental health diagnostics are inaccurate? Because well, if I were to make it really reductionistic, and I don't mean to make it that way.
Yep.
We're talking square pegs and round holes.
You got it.
And that can lead to anxiety and depression and certain elements of even BPD.
Yep.
I mean, I don't want to put you on the spot. Would you agree with that as being a potential?
For 100%.
Yeah.
If you see somebody who's struggling, if you help them figure out what their YOS is and then see how they're living it,
Yeah.
if they're not living it, it's like sticking you in a bookkeeping spot.
Right. Yeah.
It'd be the same thing for them.
I mean, I would become depressed
Yes.
and probably not know why
Nope.
and assume it was something irregular with me.
Yep.
Go seek counsel, perhaps medication. And I just went down the exact wrong path. So I'm glad we're having this conversation because I didn't want to put you in a place of having to say that, but I think there's power in that.
Yeah. Think about the questions you would then start asking yourself.
Right.
What is wrong with me?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So then you prove what's wrong with you.
Yeah. The brain is an amazing thing. I mean, it's been my area of study for so long and what I do in counseling, et cetera. And I know you know all this, but the brain, there's a couple of fundamental neurological laws, right? Your brain doesn't believe me, it believes you. Mm-hmm. So that's number one, right? And the other part of it is that whatever you tell your brain, it says, okay.
Yeah.
It agrees.
I am.
So if I start saying, what's wrong with me? Well, now my brain's saying something's wrong. Right? Oh, it's because of this. Oh, it's because of that. And now all of a sudden I'm depressed. I'm anxious. But it could be a deficit of why.
Let's go back to the gal we saw
Yeah.
when we first met.
Who got emotional.
Yes.
Yeah.
She was muting herself
Yeah.
to try to fit in because she knew she didn't
Yeah.
and she didn't want to stand out. She didn't realize she's meant to stand out. She was born to stand out, and she's holding herself back. So one of the things we talk a lot about.
I just got chills. Literally just got chills. Yeah.
You two were both crying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? You were both crying that day.
Yep.
And you just met.
Yeah.
One of the things we talk a lot about is what the world doesn't need is a muted version of you.
Right.
What the world needs is you being the best version of yourself.
True for all of us.
You can't do that if you don't know who you are. So the YOS gives you the words to tell the world exactly who you are so you can then be it.
Yeah. I need to say that out loud again. I want to echo it back to you. I mean, you're a good friend, right?
Yep.
But I'm going to tell you, like, you're people say, let's change the world. And that's great. And I'm all for it. But like what you're doing is actually changing people's lives and therefore the world. Because what you said is our obligation is to be the greatest version of ourselves, but we have to know what that is.
Exactly.
And in the absence of knowing what that is, how can we possibly amplify it? So would it surprise you to find out that I got initially diagnosed as depressed when I was 16 years old, and that prior to 3 years, for 3 years prior to turning 16, I was the captain of the football team, everybody's favorite, everybody's hero, but I'd go home at night by myself and write romance like novellas because I had such a soft side that I didn't know how to express. And the incongruency of living in those two paths became challenging. And I had to put on this face to those people, but I had to be this way over here. 16, diagnosed depressed. And for some reason, Gary, I just refused medication. Outright refused it. What changed my life was I had a really forward-thinking general practitioner who encouraged me. He gave me a pamphlet because there was no internet back then. He gave me a pamphlet for a program, a course at a Buddhist environment where they taught you how to meditate and learn the power of presence. Changed everything for me. But I gotta tell you, learning my why also was a massive part of my life that, I was, I'm 52 now. I was 49 when we met, 48. So, mature, right? But I don't think it's till I took that why discovery, the YOS, but then had you explain it to me afterwards, I don't know if I felt as comfortable being myself prior to that as I did after we met. Does that make sense?
Totally.
I bet you hear that a lot too.
I do.
Yeah.
The two most common words I hear every day are spot on. Because what happens is when somebody goes through and discovers their YOS, then I go through with them. And what the YOS discovery does is gives you the actual sentence to say, to tell the world who you are. So I have them just say it out loud to me. I have them read it out loud to me. How's that feel to you? And they're freaking, that's spot on, man. That's exactly me. And then the goal becomes, how do you become the best version of yourself?
I was going to ask you, is there integration through the Y Institute? Like, I mean, integrative coaches, is there a process that once you do the YOS discovery, how do you integrate it?
Yeah. So yes, there is. We have about 300 coaches that can then walk you through. We have some online courses you could take that do the same thing.
Help you integrate maybe solo.
Yeah. And now,
which is like someone like me, be like, yeah, let's do it myself.
Yeah, exactly. And now with today's technology, we have a lot of AI tools that'll help you with that. I have a clone, so you can just sit and have a conversation with.
I love it.
Yeah.
We need like way more of you.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but
way more.
You better ask my wife on that.
Oh, right. That's a good point. Yeah. Every time someone says to me something like, you're kind of a big deal, I'm always like, you should ask my daughter or my wife about that. That's exactly how big deal I am.
Exactly.
But no, I get that. I get that.
One of the things that I'd love to talk a little bit about is helping someone find their passion.
Yeah, please. Yeah.
Okay. One of the things we talk a lot about is people don't know what they want because they don't know who they are.
Perfect.
Help them figure out who they are. And it becomes infinitely easier to help them figure out what they want. So if we went back to let's say you were my kid in this situation and I wanted you to now become that bookkeeper we were talking about.
Right.
Well, if I didn't know your YOS, but I thought you were good at numbers, that would make sense, but you would hate it.
Yeah.
If I knew your YOS, I would know that's not the right fit for you. So let's put Brian in a place where he gets to live his why, how, and what, and he will love what he does.
Yeah.
He will have passion for what he does. And passion is the fuel that gives you the energy to pursue your dreams. Without passion, you quit.
Yeah.
Without passion, you give up.
Yeah.
With passion, you persevere.
Yeah.
So that's why passion is so important. So if someone's out there listening and you're trying to figure out, what should I do with my life?
Yeah.
What direction should I go? I have all these talents, but I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
If you knew your why, how, and what, and you live in alignment with that,
Yeah.
you'll love what you do.
Let me tell you, I'm gonna close this out because I could talk to you for the next hour and a half easy. But let me say this: I currently have clients, young men, young women, still in high school, who get pressure from parents,
Yep.
and some of these kids are unbelievably gifted, brilliant, and they have work ethic, right? Chronically unhappy.
Yep.
And I'll engage them in conversations like, what is it you want to do? I don't know, right? I don't know. And the reason I set that up is to say this. Everything we're talking about so far, we've talked about corporate and maybe entrepreneurs. How many families should be doing YOS discoveries? I think I know the answer, but
Everyone.
Yeah.
And the younger
relationships, couples, right?
Yeah, couples. I was going to say, I just worked with this one couple, and then fed it into Notebook LM. You're probably familiar with,
yeah.
And it created a podcast for them to listen to about themselves.
I love it.
So as they're driving around, they can revisit the conversations that we had. But the younger you help someone to figure out who they are, the longer the runway they have to do what they're going to do.
Makes perfect sense.
To make the impact they're going to make. If you wait until, what most of us do is, I don't know what I want to do, I'm just going to pick something.
Yeah.
And then you get involved with it.
Sure.
You become engaged, you invest in it.
Yeah.
And then you then you get married.
Yeah.
Then you have kids.
Yep.
Houses, spouses.
Now it's tough to get out of all that.
Now you can't get out of it.
Yeah.
Until you're 40,
Right.
50.
Yeah.
And then you figure out what you want to do.
Yeah.
Now how much runway do you have?
Yeah.
Not
a
much.
whole lot. I mean, is it Y Institute? Where are we going for this?
Yinstitute.com.
And you can take the discovery there?
Yeah, if your listeners use podcast 50,
Yep.
they can get it at half price.
Perfect.
It's not expensive to begin with. It's
No, it's
only
not.
$97,
Yeah.
so you can get it at $50.
Sure.
And you'll have all that information plus a whole lot more.
Yinstitute.com.
Yinstitute.com.
Podcast 50 gives you half price.
Yep.
Will you promise me one thing?
Yep.
Let's come back and have another conversation at a different time.
I'd love to do it.
Brother.
Thanks, man.
And this was amazing.
Yeah, I appreciate it.